Well, I got a couple Joe Biden jokes we can get into because this is going to be about it with me and Joe Biden jokes. I think we're pretty much coming to the end of our run here, but still got a couple left for you guys, and I'm sure you're not fans, so this should work. I've never talked to my son about his business ever. Well, that makes you a bad dad. So Joe is, he's getting a little up there. And, at the end, I think they wanted him to stay on the prompter, right? Because when he got off the prompter, he got into trouble. But even when he stayed on the prompter, he got into trouble. Remember that speech? 4 more years. Pause. That's not Joe's fault. Someone put the word pause on the prompter. If it's on the prompter, he's saying it. That's where he's at, okay? He's in the full Ron Burgundy stages of life. He'd be like, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Samsung. They got into trouble because he stayed on too long and it didn't give Kamala enough time to prepare to run for the presidency. And people are angry at Joe for not dropping out earlier. I had a surefire way to get him to drop out early and never go for his second term, but nobody would listen to me. All I needed to do is get 3 or 4 people from his inner circle together. And I'd go, you don't want this doddering old fool running for a second term, do you? And they'd go, no, but he's not going to listen to us. He's doing it anyway. Just listen to me. Get on the same page. This is going to work. When he says, I'm running for a second term, you say, but this is your second term. And he'd be like, get out of here, you dog-faced, lion, pony, soldier boy. And you go, sir, this is your second term. And you go, no, it's not. And he goes, sir, with all due respect, do you think you could have screwed the country up this badly in 3 years? Come on. That's a 7-year project right there. Come on. You're bad. You're not Jimmy Carter bad, okay? Get over yourself. Poor Jimmy Carter wasn't in office for 44 years, but every once in a while, when a really bad president would come down the pike, he'd have to turn on the news and see Sean Hannity's fat head going, we haven't seen this kind of gross incompetence since Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter's sitting home going, I build houses for black people. Leave me out of this. He had a little issue with his dog, too, Commander. Remember Commander was biting everyone at the White House, and so they had to have the dog removed. And I was picturing a scene where a couple of Secret Service agents were just standing outside the Oval Office, and Joe was saying goodbye to Commander for the last time, and the one Secret Service guy turned to the other guy and said, you think they're going to put him down? The other guy went, I don't know. Well, what are they going to do with the dog? You guys remember about 20 years ago when George W. Bush was given that presser in Iraq and that guy threw the shoes at him from the back of the room? he pulled his shoe off and he fired a strike, man. Just a fastball right over the plate. And W was like, pop. Then he pulled a second shoe off a second later and he fired another strike right over the plate. And he was like, boom, pop. And I thought, man, yeah, that was pretty regal. He didn't flail, he didn't turn, he didn't do anything. He just slipped both those loafers, you know? Tassel, tassel. And I thought, I miss those days. Because you throw a shoe at Joe Biden, you will kill the man. You throw a shoe at Joe Biden, he's going to be the Rotunda on Sunday, and you'll be Leavenworth for the rest of your life. And I don't even think it would take a dress shoe. I think one well-placed slipper. One of Mike Lindell's, rugged yet handsome. But I was watching that tape of the guy throwing the shoe, and he was in the back of an auditorium. He was like 50 feet away, pulled one shoe off, fired it, and then he pulled the next one off on the run and fired another strike right over the plate. And I was like, look, you may disagree with that guy politically, but he had a cannon for an arm. Give him his due, man. That guy played ball, right? And I was like, that guy played ball in high school. I used to play baseball. I was like, okay, that guy played Little League, Pony League, probably some high school ball, because you don't pick that throwing motion up in your 40s. That's from when you're a little tyke, you know? I was like, yeah, he definitely grew up playing ball. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. It's Iraq. It's the Middle East. They don't play baseball there. They play soccer. They kick the ball. They don't throw the ball. And I was like, where did that guy get that magnificent throwing motion? Oh, he's been stoning women since he was 6. He was probably his village's champion stoner of women. They would go to him when he was a lad. They'd go to his hut and be like, Habib, we caught some lady reading. Yeah, bring your gravel. I had a whole life for this guy worked out. I figured he got recruited to Hamas right out of high school, had an injury, had to get the Tommy Jihad surgery during the off-season. They kicked him down to AAA. ISIS picked him up. He flamed out. Never saw the show.